Hi everybody. Today I am going to try out a technique I saw online for fixing a broken nail using a tea bag. I've never tried this before, but I've been growing my nails, and on a recent trip I took, both of my thumbnails got breaks in them in a couple spots. And it's been driving me crazy, and I've been trying to glue it back together so I can keep the length on them, which I know these are not super long nails, but for me these are really long because I have smaller nail beds. And so this manicure is about a week and a half old, so I decided I was going to change it up, and now would be a good time to try out this new technique that I learned about. I'm going to start with removing my nail wrap on my thumb, and so I'll be using Jamberry products, starting with our nail wrap and lacquer remover, and then our nail prep cleanser. And the tools that you need for this technique that I'm going to see if it works, I've never tried it before, are a tea bag. You can see that this tea bag is now empty. I cut off the top and made myself a nice cup of tea using a strainer because I hate the idea of waste. So now I'll have some nice tea while I fix my nail with this little tea bag. It's Celestial Seasonings Tension Tamer, in case anyone's wondering. Some nail glue, and this is just drugstore brand nail glue with a brush tip. I'll show you what that looks like. So it comes with a little brush. I'll be using an orange stick, and if wealth were measured in how many orange sticks a person owns, I would be filthy rich because I have a ton of these. I might be using this cuticle pusher. I'm not sure how it's going to be to push down the tea bag. Some little scissors, and these are from my Deluxe tool kit that has all sorts of salon quality tools in it. I'll be using a pair of tweezers because that's what the article I read recommended, and a buffer. And then I'll also be using a nail strengthener, which of course some people say makes your nails more brittle. Some people really believe in it. I've been using it for about a month and it's helped my nails grow. It's not a Jamberry product. I know, sacrilege, but I've been trying it out. And then I'm going to put on this gorgeous copper glam. There's a little bit of a glare in here for me, so I'm not sure if you can see that, but I'll make sure you can see it when I apply it later. Nail wrap, and then I'll probably even top it with a little bit of our gel enamel just because I really like the thickness that it gives. I've had flimsy nails my whole life, and they don't grow very well on their own. So that gel gives them a little bit more thickness. So let's go ahead and get started. I have some cotton rounds here, and I have washed and dried my hands using soap and water before getting started, because it's always a good idea whenever you're using any sort of nail products to start with clean, dry nails. And you saw this is just a little pump top that I used. Set it back here. And then using the orange stick. And I have a whole video. I probably shouldn't set that on my antique table. I have a whole video on removal. So if you want to see that, it's also on my YouTube channel. So you see, I just peeled up the corner a little bit to be able to get under there with the remover. Sorry, I keep going out of the frame. I'm doing this at sort of a weird angle, so you'll have to bear with me. I'm definitely not a pro video maker, but I'm pretty darn good at Jamberry. So that's what we're here for, right? So you see that just broke up the adhesive and took the nail wrap off. And I'm going to make sure my nail is nice and clean underneath with the orange stick. And oops, of course I've got fuzz because that's where it's broken. I'm not sure how well you can see. Oh, now I've got fuzz over here. This is going to be the video of fuzz. There's a break right here, and it's really like on the edge of coming off. So that's what we're going to be practicing on. We'll see how this works. And I'm also going to clean the nail because the remover has a little bit of oil in it to help nourish your nail. But you always want to make sure you remove any oils. Sorry, I'm going in the corner again before applying anything new to your nails. So you want clean, dry nails. And both of these are alcohol-based, not acetone, so they don't have the same drying effect, and they don't have that same odor. You can see this nail has had a little bit of trouble on this side too, so it's not a perfect square shape like I would like, but it's what we've got to work with here. So the first step, according to the articles and videos that I looked at, is to take your tea bag and cut a piece that is about the size of what you want to cover. And so I'm just gonna open it up so I'm only cutting one side. And of course, this tea bag should be good for many, many, many nail breaks to come. Hopefully I won't have many nail breaks, but we know how life works. So I cut a small rectangle that I'm gonna try and use for this to cover both parts where it's broken. So I'm gonna leave that. And then it says to use an orange stick to apply some nail glue. So I didn't actually test to see if the orange stick will fit inside the nail glue bottle. Otherwise I'll just, oh no, it goes just fine. So I'm using the angled side. You can see there's a little bit of a drip there. I'm assuming we don't want it to be too wet, but we also don't want such a small amount that it dries before we can get the tea bag on. So I'm rubbing it all over the area with the break. I'll just stick that back in there. Hopefully it doesn't dry in the time that I am doing this. And I'm using tweezers to pick this up just to make it a little bit easier to apply it. It's kind of like playing Operation when you're a kid. Oops, it's sliding around a little bit. So I'm applying it to where it's broken. I can see I missed some areas with the glue. So I make it in there with just a little bit more glue. Get that to stick down. Let's try putting some more glue underneath. Because I'd rather have it cover more area than less, honestly. Because I feel like that'll give it some more stability. Use this to push it down so I don't get nail glue all over my fingers. I have definitely glued my fingers together before. I will not pretend that I am graceful or coordinated in any way. So I think that's good. I think it's covering all the areas. I'm just going to put a little more under this corner so I don't have to trim it off because I would rather have it all the way. And according to what I have learned about this technique is particularly useful because the tea bag is a fibrous material and it helps form almost a gauze over your nail to keep it together as the break grows out. And I think this would be especially helpful when you get those little breaks that are further down and you just can't peel the nail off. And of course, when you're trying to get your nails to grow, you want them to stay whole. So while that's drying, I'm going to trim this off to get it even with the tip of my nail. Not sure how well I'll be able to angle that for you to see it, but you'll just have to believe me that that's what I'm doing. And I'm guessing when I file as part of my wrap application, it'll also file that little bit of excess off. Okay, so that's better than I expected it. Oops, it's still a little bit wet and gooey. So I think we just have to let it dry for a second. And what I'm told is once you buff it, if you're using like a regular polish or something, that once you put the base coat, it kind of disappears onto the nail. So you can paint right over it. And instead of using polish, I'm going to be using wraps. I'm going to put this away so it doesn't dry out. How about that? That's a better use of time. So I'm going to be using wraps, and I still want a smooth finish so that my wrap looks absolutely beautiful. So I'm going to put that, actually, I don't want to set that down. I'm going to set it over here. I have a little garbage pile because I don't want that to stick to anything and ruin it. So while this is finishing drying, because I really want to make sure it's dry, I'll show you the nail wraps that I'm going to be applying today. It's called Copper Glam. And again, with the glare, I'm just not sure how it's showing up. It's a very true sparkly copper with a white geometric shape in it, and it's very pretty, very elegant, and just a really, really popular design. So that's what we're going to be putting on in a few minutes. Okay. I think we're getting to the point that we can start to buff. So this is a nail buffer. It is a very fine one because I don't want to take a bunch of nail off while I'm doing this. I just want to smooth the edge of the tea bag so that you won't be able to see a little shelf underneath whatever application you do, whether it's gel or lacquer or wrap, or even just, a clear coat of some sort. So I want to try and buff that out. So maybe you can see, it's hard to tell, but I can feel the difference. It's getting smoother and becoming less noticeable to the touch. I have some nail glue right here on my nail, so let me see if I can buff that down too. I was not very neat with that, but that's why I love Jamberry, is because it is good for uncoordinated gals like me. Okay, we're pretty smooth here. It's probably not perfect. I could maybe even use a little bit of a grittier buffer. But for the sake of time, because you are sitting there going, oh my gosh, Michelle, get on with it, I will go ahead like this. Because really, my goal is to see if this works in keeping my nail together. And it really looks pretty good. I mean, you can, oh, see, there I go. It still broke a little bit underneath. I wonder if I were to wrap the tea bag around the edge, if that would help. So, oh my gosh, you guys, I went to reach for my alcohol pad and I paused the video accidentally. So I'll see if I can splice these pieces together. I will probably have to Google how to do that. But what you missed, I actually decided to go ahead and do the underneath side as well. And I took a piece and wrapped it around, a very small piece, and I'm having a much more stable finish now. So that definitely made a difference to wrap it around the break. So I definitely recommend trying that. It feels much better. I also applied the hardener to the free edge of the nail. So that's all you missed. That's where we are right now. But oops, of course I have fuzz. I promised you this would be the video of fuzz. Oh, it's like glued to my nail. Look at that. I mean, I couldn't do that if I tried. Like, it's ridiculous. Okay. So far I'm really liking this technique. It feels pretty smooth. I can still feel a little bit of an edge, but I think once the wrap is on, it's going to be pretty well disguised. So let's give that a try. I'm gonna grab another pump of the nail prep cleanser just to make sure the cotton pad is nice and wet. Get this clean again, just because it's always good. You always want to clean your nail right before applying wraps. And for my thumb, this is double duty. I can actually show you what I do for my thumb so you don't get the gaps at the corner of the wrap. So you get like a bonus in this video. So for my thumb, I use this third from the largest piece. But before I cut it in half, I actually slide the scissors underneath and square the edge just a little bit. Let me pull that off so you can see the difference. And of course now I can't get it because I am trying to. Oh my goodness. So uncoordinated. I am not kidding. Okay, so see the difference here? This is how much I took off. Tiny, tiny little sliver. Doesn't look like much, but the difference between this and this means this will go right up against the more squared cuticle of my thumb. Most people's fuzz. Oh goodness. Okay, most people's thumbs have a little bit more of a squared cuticle than their other fingers, which tend to be more rounded C or U shapes. So this, if you put it on a thumb, will leave gaps of nail showing on the corners. This does not. It's kind of a magic trick. And I'm going to slide this in, cut it in half. And I'm going to turn on my Jamberry mini heater. Oh, watch that. Watch me make a mess of everything. Okay. Oops. Okay. It's a little rattly today. I'm not sure why my heater is a little bit noisy, probably because it knows it's being filmed, and that's how it goes. So now I'm peeling off the wrap from the backing just like that. I'm using my cuticle pusher to do that. And I'm going to move things out of the way so you can see. Heat it for just a second. It just gets a little bit soft, and especially with the metallic backed ones, you don't want them to get too soft. And then I don't know why I did it at this angle. This is just goofy. I'm laying it on the nail, making sure it's positioned right. It's not going to touch skin or cuticle on either side. And then I put my finger in front of the heat for just a second. And then I'm going to go straight down the middle with pressure, good pressure. And then I'm going to heat the side. And I'm going to go straight out with some more pressure there. And then the other side. Same thing. Oh my gosh, my dogs are barking. That's super awesome. So that's Marty barking, Marty McFly. He is a pug dachshund mix, and he has the saddest face in the whole wide world. And I'm not sure, the other ones will probably start barking momentarily. But that is, you can see, I think I didn't buff it well enough to quite get that edge off, but you can see that it's a pretty good smooth finish. And I left my file on the other side. I forgot to grab my Jamberry file. So now I'm going to file at a straight down 90-degree angle. Trying, of course, to do it where you can see it. Okay, now 2 of the 3 dogs are going outside. We'll see if they want to bark at a bird or something. I like to get under the corners kind of like that because the corners are where it likes to stick, and especially because this is the corner where I just had some extra thickness due to the tea bag and the nail glue. I want to make sure we have a nice smooth finish there. Okay, I think we're looking pretty good. There is a little bit of a bump, but that's my fault for not using a grittier part of the buffer. And I like to finish my wraps with our glass file because it's very fine and really gives a nice smooth finish. And I want to make sure those edges and those corners are smooth. Okay, it feels good. So here is the finished product. Looking good. It feels really sturdy. So I'm pretty confident. I'll have to report back on how this goes. And I won't make you watch me apply the gel enamel, but what I will do next is I'll clean the nail. Actually, I'll finish the rest of my mani, and I'll try the tea bag on this nail too, because it's been the other problem child. But I'll finish my mani. I'll clean everything again with the nail prep cleanser, which is sort of my best friend. And then I will apply a thin coat of our base. Oops, excuse me. This one's the base coat. I've made a mess of my table here. Thin coat of base coat. Give it 45 seconds under the LED light to cure. And then a thin coat of the top coat. Again, cure it for 45 seconds. And then wipe off that little bit of gel residue with the nail prep cleanser. And then I will be good to go for up to 2 weeks here. And I feel like this is really going to hold. So I'm excited to see how it goes. Let me know what tips you have for repairing broken nails, because as much as I hate broken nails, they are a fact of life for me. And I always want to try and repair them rather than having to cut my nails down when they happen. So thank you so much for watching. I would love to hear your questions and comments, and I will also give you the link to the website where all of these goodies are available so you can check it out. Thanks so much. Have a fantastic day.